Hey everyone, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon Fire Red with only one Butterfree was a fun run with a support Pokemon. Let's follow that up with a Poison type. Today's the day that we figure out would I be able to beat Pokemon Red with a team of only one Grimer. I genuinely can't believe that I've never done a Grimer run before. It's one of my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon, and yet I think I've only used it in team runs. So our attack and health are both pretty high for a first form Pokemon, but the rest of our stats are rough. Our special defense is actually lower than it says, since this is Gen 1, so we have the combined special stat of 40. 25 speed is brutally low. I think fighting fast psychic types is going to be a real problem this run. By level up, our move choice is pretty limited. We get Sludge at level 37, I figure that's going to be our main attacking move. Either than that, Minimize at 33 could be good, and Acid Armor at 55 is going to make us really tanky. Not many choices, though. By TM, though, we can learn a few weird things like Thunderbolt, Mega Drain, and Fire Blast. Our low special makes me think that those moves are probably not going to be worth learning, though. Body Slam is a must. Maybe we go with something like Sludge, Acid Armor, Body Slam, and then either Substitute or Rest. Like always, I'm writing this script as I go through with the challenge, so all this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I think I might need to be above level 80 before I could win this, maybe above 90. Our rival's Alakazam at the end of the game might end up being a real problem. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use Grimer. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in combat. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. So right off the bat, I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Squirtle with Grimer so that we can do the whole run with it. I can't figure out what rival starter would have been the hardest to fight, but at least if they have Venusaur, then we can't poison them, and they don't have the Executor that I would for sure sweep. I name him Vic Grimes. Well, the early travel is easy enough since we can't get poisoned by the Weedles, but I don't know how the Brock fight is gonna go. We're a physical attacker, and they're really tanky rock types. You'd think we could poison them, but not only do we not get a single poison move until level 30, but it's poison gas, so it's only got 55 accuracy, and Brock uses 5 full heals per Pokemon. It's insane. It's really hard to get poison to stick on him. We probably just need to level up until Pound is able to brute force his team. Then I need to use Disable when he's using Bide. We don't get Sludge until level 37, and I can't wait, because that's going to be a big one for us. So, after some grinding, I got to level 14 and tried the Rock Gym, but it was awful. I'm sure you could have figured that, though. We couldn't even beat the Geodude at the start because we seemed to be doing almost no damage at all. Okay, everyone predict what level I'll need to be before I can beat the Rock Gym. I'm feeling like by the mid-20s I'll be able to just overpower them. I'll say level 24. Put your predictions in the comments, and I'm gonna start leveling bit by bit and find out. Well, this surprised me. Believe it or not, but several tries in, we won despite only being level 20. See, we're slower than Onix, so it's really hard to avoid Bide. When you're slower than him, sometimes you can't avoid hitting him while he's using Bide. And we can use Disable, but it disables random moves in this game. Plus 55 accuracy, so often it just fails. Because of that, we kept knocking ourselves out from Bide, but this time, we survived with 2 health left. Somehow, we got a win. Well, that means we're traveling again, but we're still a long ways from getting a better move in terms of levels. Now, if we can beat our rival, then we could get the TM for Body Slam, and that would help a lot, but I'm not sure that we're ready for that fight yet. Pidgeotto getting us with one Sand Attack would probably cause a serious issue. Maybe I'll try the Water Gym on my way there just to see how it goes. If they use a whole lot of Bubble Beam and X-Defend, then I'm sure I'll lose, but who knows. Sometimes they just use Tackle a lot, and that does almost no damage. On our way there, though, I took the Helix Fossil. I knew that if I didn't say what I took, you'd all ask. Actually, now that I think about it, everyone ask anyway. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. So I tried the Water Gym a few times at level 25, and man, this is a really random fight. If she uses an X-Defend, how far into the fight she does, and how often she uses her water moves are what this fight comes down to. In my few attempts, we kept losing to Starmie. On this try, it mostly uses Water Gun, so we got close to knocking it out, but still couldn't quite do it yet. If we had Body Slam, we'd win for sure. Let's go try our rival. Well, this actually really surprised me. We got hit by Sand Attack twice at the start, so he missed a lot, but we still totally bulldozed his team. He was hardly doing any damage to us. I guess our high health is starting to really pay off. Let's go get Body Slam, then come back to the Water Gym. Alright, so Body Slam helps a ton here. Even with us getting crit by a water gun to take a lot of damage against Starmie, we still win because we hit so hard. I really hope that this can carry us through until we have Sludge. Next is our rival on the SSN, and this is one of those rare times where they do a better job of fighting us in this battle than in the previous one. But it's just because we can't one-shot much of their team, so they land a few hits. Maybe we could have been in danger if Kadabra didn't use Teleport, but we won pretty easily. Now you'd think that the Electric Gym after might actually do some damage to us since they have a Raichu with Thunderbolt, but no. They use their speed advantage to use Growl instead, so we easily took out his whole team with almost no damage taken. Alright, so we're making progress, but we're gonna hit a bit of a wall soon. We're coming up on Giovanni, our rival, and the Grass Gym. Now I'm not too worried about the Grass Gym since they can't poison us and grass moves don't hurt much, although I'm sure that Sleep Powder and Stun Spore are gonna be annoying. Plus, we're slow, so we might get stuck in a Gen 1 wrap loop at the start. Still, we're gonna have Sludge by then, and although the text box will say it's not very effective, it's just a text bug. It doesn't actually affect the damage, that'll be neutral. Giovanni might be annoying because of the rock types, but I think I can brute force it after not too long, and I doubt that our rival is gonna be an issue either. The annoying part is the travel after. We need to get through a bunch of required trainer fights in the Pokemon Tower, and their only Pokemon are Ghastly and Haunter, so Poison-type ghosts. Our only move for that is going to be Sludge, so I'm just hoping that the sheer power is going to make it easy. They don't have high defense and we have high attack, so I guess we're just going to brute force our way through. I'm sure the Poison Gym after won't be easy though. While I get there though, here's your weekly reminder that more of my first playthrough of Generation 8 is up on the channel. I've been playing a bunch of Pokemon Ultra Moon with my friends and it's been a great time. If you want something to watch after this video, then maybe you should go give that playlist a try. It's going to be a long series. In fact, if you check the playlist section, often I have videos of that series up in the playlist before they have gone public, so you can just go watch them early. If you're the kind of person who likes to binge watch your episodes rather than watch like one a day as they release, there you go. I put them up in the playlist so you can binge them early. Well, I went after the Grass Gym first, and we got stun-locked with Wrap for so long that we fainted without landing a single hit. Gen 1 Wrap is so brutal. Let's just try the other fights first. Alright, so I tried Giovanni next. His Onix took ages because it's so tanky, and he was using Rage from the start. It's funny, his attack kept raising and raising, but Rage is so useless in Gen 1 that it was still doing almost no damage by the end. Rhyhorn is next, and it took forever to take down, so our health has actually gotten shipped down pretty far by the time he faints. Last is Kangaskhan, and although it was a bit worrying at the start, he switched to using Rage and threw the fight. That wasn't so bad, although we lost half our health. It's crazy how slow we are. After that, I go to the rival. Pidgeotto was a one-shot, and second was Water Onix, who hit a Bite and a Hydro Pump to take us to half health before we took it down. Growlithe was a one-shot, and next is Kadabra, who probably could have hurt us really badly, but he used Teleport so nothing happened, and we one-shot him. Last is Ivysaur, who survives a Body Slam, but Vine Whip does almost nothing to us. I mean, it wasn't hard, but that's just because Kadabra didn't fight back. Alakazam is gonna be awful in Silph-Co. Well, we did indeed get strong enough to overpower the ghosts with Sludge, but man, it's not easy. Every channeler takes a couple tries because getting both paralyzed and confused at the same time is a nightmare, and they love spamming Lick and Confuse Ray, so it happens a lot. We have closer calls with these channelers than we have with most gyms. The worst part is that at the end of all of this, we have the Poison Gym. I figure that I need to spam Minimize for that one. I can't afford to get smokescreened a bunch, and we all know the wheezing at the end is just gonna blow up, so I'd like to dodge that. If we win that fight, then I can do the Fire Gym early, as is customary, and I'm pretty excited for that. Well, the Poison Gym actually went great. We were doing a lot more damage than I was expecting, all of their smokescreens missed, and Weezing missed his self-destruct at the end. That means we get to go do the Fire Gym early. And yet again, we have an amazing Blaine fight. Growlithe spams Agility because it thinks that it's super effective against us. Ponyta is too weak for us. Rapidash gets a strong Fire Spin in for ages, then ditches it to spam Tail Whip. And Arcanine used Roar the entire fight. Gen 1 Blaine is the gift that keeps on giving. Maybe someone out there has got to make a montage one day of just all the dumb Gen 1 Blaine fights that I've had. I don't have time to make it. If you do make it though, put it on your channel. You might make a little money. I'm not gonna ID claim you, don't worry about it. So I decide to go after our rival in Silphco, but our low speed is really starting to cause issues for us. Pidgeot is faster than us and spams Sand Attack, so although we could get past him, the Water Onix right after always ends up beating us with Hydro Pump. Losing accuracy in a solo run is always a really rough situation. I'm gonna try a few times and see if we ever end up with good Sand Attack luck. If not, I'll have to get some levels. Well, I tried a few more times and managed to get past Pidgeot without being Sand Attacked, and got past Water Onix and Growlithe with almost no damage taken, just to get crit by Alakazam using Confusion. That's his weakest move and we fainted. I'm gonna go get a few levels so that I can more reliably two-shot, and then try more. Well, I gained a few levels, and now we can sweep our way to Alakazam pretty reliably as long as we don't take a Sand Attack on Route 1, but we still just faint anytime Alakazam uses a decent move. This thing's a crit machine, too. I think I'm gonna have to keep trying until he uses full health recover, which sounds really stupid, but they do that a lot in this game. Next try, and although he doesn't use recover, he didn't crit Psybeam this time. It was a run where our health was already low though, so we survived with 9 health and then fainted to Leash Seed at the end. Hey, at least now we know for sure that I can survive if he doesn't crit. The problem is just that he crits constantly. Okay, after failing another 4 times, mostly thanks to Sand Attack, we got this run where we finally took out Alakazam with passable health left, thanks to him not critting Confusion, and us not getting Hydro Pumped, and although we still nearly fainted to the Venusaur at the end, we overpowered it and won this time. Let's go get Giovanni over and done with, and then we can get back to losing at the Psychic Gym. Alright, so as expected, Giovanni couldn't really do anything to us. I do think that he could possibly be a bit annoying in the ground gym just because he's got that Dugtrio that I'm sure is going to be faster than us. But maybe he still picks bad moves. Who knows? Oh, and I finally remembered to do the grass gym. It's super easy now. How do you think the Psychic Gym is going to go, though? I figure it's going to be extremely random. Either they use Psychic and we lose, or they use Recover and Psywave and we win. We're a slow poison type with low special, though, so I don't really expect it to go well. Huh. Right away, Kadabra is faster than us, and after beating us a couple times with Psychic, he got us with Psybeam, and we survived to take him out. Mr. Mime just raised his defense and special defense before we took him out, and Venomoth right after wasn't an issue either. But Alakazam at the end just outsped us and took us out in 1 hit after he used Reflect. Well, I don't expect to be faster than them anytime soon, and I bet you I could one-shot him if Reflect didn't go up. I'm just gonna keep trying. The very next try, and we take a ton of damage over the course of the fight, but as soon as we get to Alakazam, she goes for Psywave, and misses. I mean, even if it hit, there was a decent chance we were gonna survive. That move is incredibly awful, but the miss was just icing on the cake. Alright, this ground gym is baffling. The first Rhyhorn got poisoned off Sludge, and I knew it would take forever to make Faint, so I decided to use 3 Acid Armors and 6 Minimizes to prepare myself for Dugtrio if he uses Dig. Somehow, though, I ended up going first and one-shotting them as he came out. But then, as the rest of his team came out, we were slower than all of them. We won easily, but I was so confused, I had to keep rewatching the footage back to try and figure out exactly how I could have been faster than Dugtrio and slower than Nidoqueen. Looking back at it, what I did was I accidentally badge boosted myself by getting all that defense and evasion, so my speed ended up being higher than Dugtrio, but leveling up removes the badge boost glitch, so we were slower as soon as we took it out. All-time weird fight. This is one of those perfect examples of even if you're playing Gen 1 normally, it's gonna glitch. Alright, the rival is a very similar fight. It's all really smooth sailing now that Pidgeot doesn't Sand Attack us, but the moment we hit Alakazam, it's pure luck. Even without a crit, he takes us to extremely low health, and then Venusaur can finish us off. I think I have to keep trying until he wastes time with moves that he just shouldn't be using. Wow, this fight is just terrible. After 7 tries, we got this one where Alakazam spammed Reflect, so we took it out, but then Venusaur took us out because we couldn't two-shot it, and his Razor Leaf crit pretty much every time because this is Gen 1. I'm just gonna level up a bit so that he's a two-shot. Well, the very next try, we're level 62, and not only did Alakazam spam Reflect again, but Venusaur just used Vine Whip a bunch. I appreciate that they eased up on me, but I still don't feel great about the final battle of this run. We're on our way to the Elite Four now, and I'm not really sure what to expect. Lorelei has a good amount of special moves, including a few psychic ones that might be rough. Bruno shouldn't be too bad, but Agatha will be annoying. An all-poison team with some ghosts. I doubt I'm going to be doing very much damage. I guess Lance will be easy since most of his team is going to spam agility, but just getting there won't be easy. At this point with how slow we are, I think we might need to be somewhere around level 90 before we win this run. Now that we're the Elite Four, let's take a look at our stats. Well, our health and attack are both pretty good for our first form at level 63. Actually, our speed is a little higher than I thought it might be too, although it's still not great. Make your final guesses on if we can win this or not. Let's do this. First is Ice Trainer Lorelei. This fight was crazy. So right away Dugong thinks that rest is super effective, so it's going to use it every single turn, but thankfully we can just do enough damage to take it out before it can rest forever. Cloyster ends up actually doing some pretty bad damage to us between Clamp and confusing us, but eventually we do take it out, and Slowbro doesn't fight back because it just uses Amnesia. I was worried about Jinx, but she just used Thrash and it did almost nothing, so we took it out. Last is Lapras, and right away we did great damage and poisoned him. He missed Hydro Pump, so we survived. We hit Sludge again, then she illegally used a Super Potion instead of attacking to finish me off. And as a result, we won on the next round. That was amazing. Second is Fighting Trainer Bruno. I knew this would be pretty easy though. Onyx is first and can hardly hurt us, so we just Acid Armor 3 times, then Slam and Sludge our way through the whole fight. We just have such crazy high defense and health that his all-physical team can't really do anything to us. I can't use that trick on the next fight though. Third is Ghost Trainer Agatha, and this one is crazy. So I tried the fight a bunch of times before quickly realizing that we do so little damage to the Gengars that the right move is to minimize 6 times to last as long as possible. The thing is, I don't know if it's supposed to work this way or not, but even with 6 minimizes, we get hit by Confuse Ray constantly. And the fight is so long that we actually hit ourselves so many times that we faint. I'm gonna try a few more times and just see if a win is even likely. Alright, 3 tries later and we got this one where we just hardly survived at the end. And really, we only survived because the Gengar at the end was spamming Toxic. Yes, she spammed Toxic against the pile of sludge. They really set a high bar here at the Indigo Plateau. Fourth is Dragon Trainer Lance. Alright, this is an all-time weird fight. Right away, Water Onix is using a Hyper Beam, and we took huge damage, so I built up some Acid Armor to make sure that it can't do it again, and we paralyzed it with Body Slam. We ended up taking it out with just a little bit under half our health left. Next is 2 Dragonairs, but because they only use Agility, thinking it's super effective, they can't hurt us. Second from last is Aerodactyl, who doesn't do much damage with Hyper Beam thanks to the Acid Armor, but I know one crit would take us out. We kept doing damage and paralyzed him early, but thanks to a Hyper Potion, he lasts ages. In the end, we took him out with a bunch of hits and only had 37 health left as he went down. Last is Dragonite, and although this fight took forever, he was just spamming Barrier and Agility, so he couldn't actually hurt us. That was really close considering how much of a mess his AI is. Finally, the Pokemon Champion. Right away, what Pidgeot does is really random, and Sky Attack actually does a lot of damage to us. So I just use a lot of Sludge early, and he mirror moves it back at us to do almost no damage. We took a little bit of damage to Wing Attack, but got the knockout safely. Next is Alakazam, and this fight is totally random. But here we are, third try, and he just uses Reflect 3 times, so we take him out. Rhydon is next, so I take the chance to use some Acid Armors for safety. I then, very, very slowly took him out with Sludge. He did a bit of damage to us, but not very much. Next is Water Onix, and thanks to those Acid Armors I used earlier, we could survive his Hyper Beam. Sludge wasn't doing amazing damage, but we still took him down with a little bit under half our health left. Now, Arcanine had me very worried because he kept hitting Takedown, and even with our defense buffs, it still hurts. We poisoned him early and took him out when we had only 22 health left. Last is Venusaur, and he used Growth as we hit Body Slam. On the second turn, he charged Solar Beam, and I knew it would make me faint, when our Body Slam saved us by paralyzing him, giving us the speed advantage to hit Sludge for the win. We just won like 20 levels earlier than I thought we would. Man, that went so much better than I thought. Yeah, it's not exactly the most exciting Pokemon, but I got to play around with Minimize and Acid Armor, so that was a fun time. I really hope you guys like that run. The next Pokemon challenge should be up next week on Saturday, like usual, with Pokemon X, with only one Pikachu. Really excited for that one. As always, I'm looking at your suggestions in the comments in the challenge quest section of my Discord channel and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Outro time, I have one bit of news that everyone is going to be very, very happy about, I'm sure, very excited about, but I can't tell you that little bit of news until I shout out the $50 supporter shoutout tier over on the YouTube memberships and the Patreon thing on Patreon. You know what I'm talking about. Thank you so much, Jacob Busby, Javid Kusaro, Grayson Fitz, Tara Louise, Dark Soul, Young Smoky VP, Gabriel Thornton, Hernandez Punchdick, and the -1 for your continued support. Very much appreciated. Where did your money go this time? Why, it went to the yearly lion cut of my cat Sabu. You see, he's got the longest, wiriest cotton fur you've ever seen on a cat. And so he needs to go to the groomer about once or twice a year just to make sure that he doesn't get too knotted up in his underbelly and everything. You know, he can get matted. And I can brush him out and brush him out and brush him out at home, but he doesn't like the shaver. So although I can hold off on him needing to be shaved for a long time, I can't actually shave him. I gotta take him to the groomer because they have the harness, they have multiple people, and they're professionals and everything. But because of that, once or twice a year, usually in the summer, he's gotta get what is essentially a lion's cut, where they shave down most of his torso to be really, really short and it slowly grows back in. And you may be wondering, well, that must look very strange, right? Yes, it does look very strange. And here's a picture of what he looks like. Oh my god, he's so adorable. He gets so snuggly after he gets a shave. He's always in a really good mood. And I can understand why. Because he's got a thick, thick fur coat. Pets must feel so good when he's been freshly shaved. You know, could you imagine the difference between only getting massages when you're wearing a thick fur coat and then suddenly you take the coat off and then you get a massage? Must feel incredible. He's also the snuggliest of lap cats right now, because of course he is, you know. He needs the extra heat and everything. He doesn't have his fur coat, so he's super snuggly every single day. Kind of looks like a naked mole rat or a plucked chicken. He looks ridiculous. He looks like he has a giant Lego head or something. But he's loving it. He always loves when he gets shaved down. He just looks really silly for a little while. So I hope you guys enjoyed the pictures of it. I don't even know what the pictures look like yet, because I haven't taken them yet. I'm probably going to take them while I'm editing right before I render the video, so you get the most up-to-date Sabu picture possible. Anyway, I got a whole bunch of editing to do, so I'm going to go get started on that. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.